So, guys, we've talked all about the adventures. We covered the adventures. We kind of know where we're at with those. Whether you agree with me or not, they're on the books, at least in my opinion. So, what we need to talk today are about the assists. And when it comes to assists, there are a lot of different caveats here to these teams. And the honest answer is I grade assists way differently than I grade adventurers. Now, we do have a lot of S-tier adventurers. Most of those are new units that kind of dropped long after the start of the game. Most of the units that started at the beginning of the game kind of have fallen off significantly. Also, when it comes to these units, you have to take into, or the adventurers at least, you very much have to take in their skill set in mind, i.e., is an attacker a good attacker? Is a speed unit boosting everybody else's speed? Or are they just boosting their own? Or are they bet and they just suck? The number of things like that. Is a support unit supporting themselves or the whole team? Things like that. So we went in forward order. I'm going to go reverse order this time, and I'm going to start here with Winnie. Now, this unit recently got a big rebalance to all of her skills. She is predominantly a healer, but she also gives an endurance boost to everybody, and she reduces her own technique cooldown. The only real downside is she kind of is designed to be run with the yellow Leafia over here. She's kind of her partner unit in that she doesn't really do any strength boosts. She only does magic boosts. And there aren't really that many like magic earth units. There's a few, but she's kind of, very much alone in her kind of realm there. So the temptation is to kind of put her right here. Except I have found an insane amount of utility just in her endurance boosts and her healing alone. I run her in actually events that she really has no business being run in. Honestly, and she is a full encompassing healer. She heals your whole team, not just the unit she's tied to. So I think after her rebalances, I think she actually deserves the S tier. She is phenomenal in this stage of the game. Disagree with me in the comments if you like, but I don't think we're going to find that many disagreements, at least when we're specifically talking just about the units from the regular gotcha. So feel free to disagree, but that's kind of where I put her. Now, Take here is a very interesting, this dude right here is a very interesting case, because this is a unit that I still have at level 60, and I didn't put a lot of effort into or really didn't care that much about until recent. Now, as of recent, we have a lot of scene cards and a lot of things that are designed for units that are basically either get better when their health is low or just in general are really good tanks, looking at you, Otarl, and just need a little extra boost if they happen to get low. And because of that, this dude initially, when his shield really only activated below 50%, initially when he dropped, he wasn't that good. So I'd really just kind of put him down here. I wouldn't put him here. Only one person goes there. But I put him probably C or D tier. I didn't use him a lot, but he did have, some minor clutch uses, things like that. Not a super useful unit. However, in the modern realm, where we now know we've got Growth Quest, and we have Abyssal Explorations, we've got units that specifically are designed to drop below 50%. I think this guy's got a shocking amount of utility that he really kind of only has in the modern era. I see what they're trying to do. I don't think it was there before, but I think now, with the combination of scene cards that we have, and the combination, remember, scene cards pretty much drop from every gacha, so even if you don't have some of those scene cards, as you summon on banners that are maybe time limited, or Festas, or even just any rerun banner, a lot of those other scene cards are achievable in there. So not all, but most. So I think he's got a shocking amount of utility that he never had prior, and I think I really need to bring this guy up a little bit. I do have a max limit broken. I do now have all of his skills maxed out, and I really kind of need to level him up and give him another chance to shine. I think he's a unit that I personally been sleeping on, and I need to give another chance to. I like him a lot more now than I did a month ago. Speaking of shield units, we have to talk about Maid Seer. Now, Maid Seer is just a shield unit. She grants shield whenever she does her activation. Now, her shield specifically, it's only 20%, and it only activates for 10 seconds. Take's is 40%, activates for 20 seconds. So 20 for 10 seconds or 40 for 20 seconds, literally twice as good. And Take's got an attack on top of it. Now, the one thing that gives Seer a little bit of utility is the fact that she can activate that all of the time. But if you don't reduce her cooldown, you don't do anything like that, I think she's kind of fallen off a bit. I don't think she's bad, but I don't think she has the same level of utility that Take has, which is sad because, once again, a month ago, I would have flip-flopped those two. But I think now in the modern realm, I think this is the right rating, at least in my opinion. All right, guys. All right. So, Ryu stands. This unit is for you. She doesn't attack. She reduces the strength of the opponent, and she increases both strength and magic on your unit, and there's a lot of units that use both of those stats. All around, a fantastic unit. I actually like her a lot. She works on a ton of teams. She's actually really good in the free-to-play realm, and she's one of the early units that actually got up to level 70. So I do think she's really awesome. Now, is she on Winnie's level? For just the regular gacha, I would have to say yes. I think she's fantastic. I think she's got a lot of utility. I think she's absolutely stellar. And for those people that are actually doing rerolls currently, all of these assists are up for grabs, and both of those S tiers would be phenomenal choices for those specific events. So definitely jump on them. Just my opinion so far. Okay, so we have to talk about Miat and Miat, and he is another one of these. Just basically, he's kind of a healer, and he gives your units a lot of like defensive boosts, and he's really good in that. But as far as offensive boost goes, he only really does magic. So as far as the healers go, I really like Winnie, and Winnie only really does magic. I just feel like this guy has a little bit less utility. And for that reason, I'm going to put him right here. He is a healer, he's good, but I just don't see him in the same realm as I see Winnie. I've never used him quite the same way. So full disclosure, I had to actually go recheck the numbers. He's only 22.1% with a 15% like passive healing, whereas Winnie is like 30% with another, like I think a 20% passive or something like that. She's just way better than he is. So not bad by a long shot, but just not in the same realm. Maybe it's unfair to put him in B tier. I kind of think he falls down there. If he had a strength boost on top of it, which I know when he doesn't, I'd put him a little higher. But that's kind of where I see him personally. So here's another assist that on the face of it is very kind of specialized, and that would be Lily. Now, I've used Lily in a lot of things. Lily is, I think, has a lot of utility. The downside is her main ability only buffs strength, but her passives buff strength and magic. So you really do kind of only want to run her on a strength team. She also does increase stamina, but the numbers on her strength buff are amazing. So I think that gives her... There's a lot more, in my opinion... I think personally there's a lot more strength units than there are magic. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I just use her more often because that strength boost is really, really, really good. Plus it's combined with an attack and everything. I wind up using her more often probably than anybody else here, with the exception of Winnie. Personal experience. But that's just kind of the way I see this one. All right, so for some, this is probably going to be a super hot take. But Loki, now, has a 90% magic boost. Absolutely insane. But she requires you to take more damage. And she doesn't work anybody that's not magic. She kind of seems to have limited teams. I really want to put her here, but I can't remember the last time I used her. I literally cannot remember the last time I used this unit. I might have to go give her a second chance, but really just cannot remember the last time I ever put her into battle. Though in fairness, in her defense, she is one of my level 70s. I don't have any assists above level 80. Like, level 80 is kind of where assists hang right now. And then I put my adventures to level 90, level 100. And then as I get more level 100 adventures, I'll start moving out some assists. But for now, I think she's hanging back there with Aisha. I mean, she's still not bad, though. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. In fact, I think we need to do one more adjustment here. Yeah, that feels better. I think that's more appropriate. Fight me in the comments. So, we're going to talk about the Leafia assist. Now, I did put Leafia up here with eyes. And does this Leafia deserve to be with eyes? Well, she is an attacker. She does do an actual attack, which I believe all the attackers actually do. If not, they should. So she's got that going for her. She does both strength and magic buffs. In fact, she got a 30% strength buff when her skills are maxed out and she's MLB. She's got a 22.5% magic buff, which still ain't half bad. And remember, a lot of units use both strength and magic for their stuff. And above 80%, she gives you a critical rate increase. That all sounds very good. But her activation is only an attack. I really want more. I feel like most units here, like in the upper echelon, actually have a little bit more on their plate than just doing a base level attack. I've used her a lot. I've been guilty of using her a lot. She's also a wind unit, and wind teams are very good. But if I'm honest, she probably isn't a unit that I'm going to use terribly often anymore, with all the time limits and stuff out there. Now, compared to the rest of these units, once again, Lily's an attacker that has extra stuff going on. We got two healers that do decent buffs on top of it. We've got, it is what it is. I think she belongs in B tier. I don't think she belongs below that, but I think she belongs in B tier. And so far, we don't have a D tier yet, but I don't think she deserves it. Personal opinion. All right, so I have to put my dirty old man aside for a minute. That is not a euphemism. That's literally me going, I have to be fair on this one. I have this next assist level 80 for one reason and two reasons technically. Number one, she does a 90% strength boost. And I mostly got her there to kind of boost Aisha. But the problem is she makes every unit squishy, just like Loki did. She's literally the same thing as Loki, but for strength units instead of magic. However, let me be entirely fair here. I use this unit a decent chunk. Have you tried her with a new Otarl? Oh, it is foul. We recently did that in Abyssal, and I can actually rerun that and kind of show you guys that. I think we actually did it on the stream last night, and the boost is insane, especially after you get like all the passive healing and things like that, or you run her with a healer, Blasphemy, you run her with Horror Hime on the team, something like that. It is disgusting. But once again, just like with Loki, she causes your unit to take more damage. She does have passive boost of strength as well. I like her a lot. I really should put her C tier. Only because I've used her a lot with Aisha to clear events and other purple units. And man, purple just sucks to begin with. I'm going to give her a little bit of a pass. Also, I am a dirty old man at heart. So I'm going to give her extra points for attire. Or lack thereof, potentially. Okay, here's another discussion to be had. So, Hestia, great unit. The best part about her is she does a general damage boost, not just strength, not just magic, a general damage boost all the way around. So, she's normal damage boosted. She works for magic, she works for strength, and she increases your stamina. So, she's very, 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 very good. Here's my problem. I'm going to put her in B tier. I put Belle in A tier. I'm going to put her... So here's the thing. There's two different ways to look at this. Number one, if you're doing a reroll, absolutely do not settle for her. But she works on so many teams. You will use her all of the time. She is fantastic. Just good all. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to do it. But if you're re-rolling, do not sit on this unit. Do not be, because you're going to get her free all the time. I believe it was that back during the anniversary when we got Belle. I believe we got her too. Like, she's back. She gets Maxima Broken, like, at a moment's notice. I think you even get one for free during the game. So, if you're re-rolling, but utility-wise, she's just, it's hard to beat her. She works so well in so many teams. Specifically talking about, though, the general pool. We're not necessarily talking about, compared to time limiteds and stuff like that. Okay, so that brings us to Hermes, a unit that does HP recovery and stamina and endurance and a normal damage boost. All the way around, and the damage boost, the stamina, and the endurance, those are all passives. His main thing is just doing an HP recovery. Except, in this situation, he also boosts your super attack accumulation. So, I'm going to put him A tier in the general pool. I think there's other units that you probably will run more often, but I think he's very much like Hestia, just to a slightly lesser degree, in that you can run him on a ton of teams. He's good for healing, and when you use his main skill, you will accumulate your special attack a lot faster. Unfortunately, it's not all techniques, it's just special, but get that special out, and you pretty much do have the other techniques by that point anyway. So, there are a lot of situations in which he can come in clutch. I do like him. I'm borderline putting him on B tier, but I'm going to keep him A for now. But I might revise that. I haven't decided. Okay, so here comes Hephaestus. Now, much like Ishtar, she really pretty much only does a strength boost, except she does have a little bit of magic built into her passive, along with just a general, I believe it's a stamina buff, if I recollect. But here's the thing. Ishtar does a 90% boost for 25 seconds. She does an 80% boost for 25 seconds. However, Ishtar costs you damage. She will literally make your unit take more damage for an extra 10% boost in your strength. For that reason, I'm going to put her up here because she does not cost you strength boosts. She doesn't have a huge amount of utility on magic teams. She's really only for strength teams. Personally, like I've said before, I think there's just more strength teams out there, or there's just, I just use more strength units, probably is the more likely situation. Also, magic units, another reason that Loki's so far down is magic units tend to be more squishy anyway, so it is what it is. But I like Hephaestus. I use her pretty frequently. All said and done, I think that's a fair assessment. I do wish she did more, but, I can't be mad with what she does. All right, so Freya. Freya's got a lot going on with her. She does a regular attack with an attack multiplier of 200%. So right out of the gate, that's really good. And she pulls all enemies in closer. That's two things she does. Third thing she does, 15% reduce earth damage. Now that is really only applied to wind units, mostly just to Otaro. That's kind of who she's designed for, but it is what it is. Then, on top of that, thing number 4 she does is a HP recovery. So, all said and done, her job is to basically make Otaro the tank a better tank. And she does a great job of it. But she'll work on a ton of units, mostly strength. That is kind of the big caveat to her. So, she does have a strength boost in her passive, as well as a regular damage boost and a stamina boost. Those are her 3 passive skills. She does a lot. She's only limited in the fact she's really just designed for strength teams. But, call it a hot take, I think she really deserves that to be in the S tier. I mean, with Otaro, frankly. I mean, just they're made for each other, but she will work outside of that. I mean, she'll work on the anniversary bell if you don't have the Eyes Assist for him. She'll work on a lot of units, even if they're not wind units. Just fantastic. I like her a lot. I use her all of the time. I really do. And finally, we come to Chigusa. Now, Chigusa just doesn't attack. That's her one thing. She doesn't attack. She has a strength boost, she has a magic boost, and she has one other boost beyond that. It's not super duper important. I've used her in the past, but I'll be honest, I can't remember the last time I used her. And she only really does one thing with her passive, and she kind of does it okay. She's a unit we really liked when she came out, but now in the current realm of things, I think she's fallen off. I hate to say it, I'm not impressed by the amount of damage she does. If I recollect, I don't think she has a percentage boost on there like Freya does. I don't think I've used her recently. I'll be completely honest. Yeah, I think that's my take. But let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Did I get anything wrong? Did I get anything right? Do you agree? Disagree? That's what they're there for. But either way, I think we can all agree that Bet sucks. Bet really sucks.